Welcome once again to the Russell Brown Show. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using Adobe Photoshop Touch here on the Apple II iPad. And in this project, I'm going to be masking out backgrounds. I'm going to use a great new feature found here under my tools, and it's called the Scribble Selection Tool. Now, of course, we have all the standard selection tools built into Photoshop Touch, but you really want to know the secrets behind the Scribble tool and how to get the best results. Let's get started. I'm going to select the tool right here. And I'm going to open up this first image right here. I'm going to go through two projects, one of them a little simpler than the other, and show you that it really can cover different types of masking problems. Let's start with this one. I want to mask this out against this background. Now here are the basics. With this tool you have a keep and a remove. You simply select the keep for the areas you want to keep. And here are the basics. What you want to do is go in here and paint right along the edge of your image. You first select your image, then you can start to paint. Notice that it appears in green. What I want to do is trace the edge. Don't touch the edge of your image. Trace along the edge like this. Notice how I'm just coming up to the edge as close as I possibly can right along my subject. Now it's called the Scribble tool, but you don't necessarily scribble. You do an outlining technique for your best results, and that's like the real thing you need to know about this. Just like that. Do you see that? Now, check this one out. I'm going to zoom in because I want to show you a tip and technique. If you zoom in, and of course I'm doing an outward pinch with my fingers. Now watch the size of the brush. Did you see that? The brush size changes relative to your zoom on the screen. So if you want a smaller brush, zoom in for closer details like here on these fingertips, just like that. Really great tip and technique to know as you're working on your projects. I'm zooming back out. So that's about all I need to do. Now we select Remove right over here. And this time, once again, as I paint along the edge, see how I'm creating this parallel track right along the edge. Now I don't need to let up, I just keep on painting and go right around to the other side. That way it just processes the image once. Just like this. A close tight. Did I worry about these lights to the right? No. Did you see that? It knew what to look for based upon the red and the green lines that I drew right along those edges. It found the edges that I was working with. Now, if you find areas that aren't well defined, let's say this area right here, you select the Keep button again, and you can go back in and add a little bit more adjustment, just like that. Let's see what happens. Perfect. Let's add a little bit more over here. You can see you're assisting the calculation that it's making around the edge of your subject. Now, you're making a simple selection around your image that's a hard edge selection. It's on and it's off. What we want to do is now soften this. There's a great technique right here under this flyout menu here for selections, and it's called Refine Edge. You've seen this in Adobe Photoshop on your desktop machines, and now it's here in Photoshop Touch. You see these areas around the hair right here? It's a little bit ragged. What we want to do is click and hold on these areas. Then our brush will change, and then we can paint over this area. What you want to do is paint over these areas of transition, is what they're called, the areas where the fine hairs transition into the background of your image. Once again, I'm going to click and hold over here on this other side because I want to go over here and add the same effect. I might even want to add a little bit to this area where the feathers are coming up off the hat. That looks great. I now can click OK, just like this. Now it's going to go through and process this pretty fast, pretty amazing. Now don't be alarmed by what you see here. It looks like your selection goes a little bit too far. But what I found is that this will disappear into our background. Next, let's go up here to the Edit menu and down to Extract. What makes this great is that you can simply and easily make the selection and extract it. A lot of steps have been taken out of this process because it needs to be simple and easy. This is really great. Check out the really fine detail around the hair. I'm now going to go to my Select menu and select Deselect, just like that. So that was a relatively easy project because I shot it against a gray background and there wasn't any confusing areas of color. Let's take a look at a little bit more complex situation with this classic image from the iStock photo library. It's a really difficult image for making a mask because it's the same color background as the fur here on this lion. So let's target the lion right there. Then, once again, let's go back in with that same tool. We want to keep these areas of our image. Now notice I'm not going to go all the way to the edge of the hair, but I am going to do a little bit of painting back and forth like this. I find that a little bit of a jagged edge near that much hair works out really well. That looks great. Do I need to scribble in the middle? No. Just along the edge. Then remove. Once again, let's go along this edge. Don't touch the fur, just come up and define the fur. And again, a little bit of a jagged edge here, just like that. It's just a technique I've used and gives me my best results. See, looks really good so far. It's got a really nice defined area because we defined it with 2 strokes. Once again, back up here to our selection menu, refine the edge. What do we want to refine? We want to refine this fur because this is a completely soft edge subject. So in this particular case, I think I'm going to go all the way around. Now don't go too far into your subject area. Stay right on the edge, and I'm just wiggling this around just like this to cover that area, just like that. Wow, that's fast. Now we click OK. So we've refined the edge that we started off and created, and there's that extension, this extra area. Not to be worried, let's go ahead and let's go back to our edit menu and extract. Once again, deselect. There you have it. 2 great ways to make a selection and extract the background from a fairly easy image to a very complex image here in Photoshop Touch. Give these techniques a try the next time you want to drop out a background really easily. There you go.